Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. We have a pretty hype matchup here. We have Brott taking on Xyrak in a battle of the 2 and 2s. I'm joined in the booth by Jat. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. Should be another exciting race. 2 and 2, people fighting hard to stay alive, and not only stay alive, but stay out of the last chance qualifier. So it should be a good one here tonight.
Yep, one of these runners will fall to 2 and 3, and their best chance will be that last chance qualifier in a week and a half or so from now. But this is week 5 of Swiss. This is the week of Swiss that we added to accommodate all the turnout that we had. We had over 70 runners sign up for this tournament. The largest turnout we've Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament, the largest turnout we've had for a Final Fantasy Randomizer event in its history, and a lot of runners coming out of the woodwork to participate. Brott, a longtime runner, started running FFR back in 2018. Xyrak, new to the game, but been playing randomizers since about 2017. Big runner in the Link to the Past randomizer community, and more recently, the free enterprise community. So both these runners have the Brott with the background in the game, Xyrak with the background in the technical know-how of how randomizers work. This is going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. So week 5 here, we've gone back to the wheel. The first 4 weeks, we went through the different dungeons. So we went Earth, Sea, Fire, Air. Not exactly in that order, but we went through all 4 of them. And here we are right back to a random one. And in this case, it is Fire Week. So what that means here is we have an extra incentive in the volcano. I find Volcano out of all of them actually changes the routing the most. Because the fact that you don't need the canal before you can get to this incentive location, if you find an early canoe, it can make it quite interesting what decisions you want to make here.
Yeah, I love finding early canal and early canoe because that will encourage me. I won't say incentivize, but it will encourage me to go make those dumb plays and check in the marsh cave, that thing that nobody wants to do. I haven't watched enough of these runners race these flags to know what they're going to do in that situation. But as we're just waiting on Xyrak, he did let us know in the SRL chat that he was having a little controller issue, so bear with us as we get that up and running. So once he is made his party readied up, we will drop the gates and get rolling. So the Fire Week, the Volcano Incentive, it is one of the few locations in the game that the developers have added an incentive to, where when we have the incentivized Ice Cave, that's the vanilla floater. When we have incentivized Earth, that's where you get the ruby in the vanilla game. Sea Shrine is where you get the slab. Sky is where you get the adamant. Ordeal is where you get the tail. The only new ones that are created, and of course Marsh is when you get the crown in vanilla, and Canary Locked is the box that you get the TNT out of. So we have a few locations that are added to the randomizer by the developers, one of which is the Volcano Incentive, which is the chest guarded by the red dragon in the vanilla game. That is where you get the flame armor. So that is the box our runners are going to be looking to get, and that's something you're going to have to dive all the way through the bottom of Volcano to find it. If we don't have early warp or exit, we're going to have a game plan of how we're getting out of there, because are we going to dive down there with the intent to not only get that box, but also attempt carry? Because if that goes sideways, that's going to go sideways real fast. And
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I was just running a seed earlier today and hit fire, got down to the incentive, got 2 pretty easy spike tiles there. I was like, you know what, this is no problem. Take on carry. Boom. Carry had 1,000 health. Carry hit hard. Party wipe, and that's a long ways to go back, especially if that incentive item is something you need. So having a plan to get out or to defeat carry is really, really important here if you're going to make that deep dive into the volcano.
And I am talking to both our runners in the SRL chat, and it sounds like Xyrak's uses a SNES controller, and the adapter that he uses to plug into the computer looks like it kind of crapped out on him. So he is going to be remapping a new controller and be playing on his Xbox 360 controller now. So bear with us as we get through these technical hiccups and get this going. So yeah, incentive. Volcano is not the only new incentive that we're playing with here. We have an incentivized Titans Trove through all of Swiss and brackets. The incentivized Titans Trove is just the far left box in the 4 boxes of treasure in the Titans Trove, or the Titans Tunnel in the vanilla game. Not a location where you get any special item in the vanilla game, but we wanted a way to make that ruby just a little more valuable. So that's how we've done it this time. So sometimes the ruby will lead to 2 key items, sometimes it won't. Sometimes you'll get the item off Sarda because we'll end up with an early floater. So it's still typically a pretty strong item to find. It encourages me to check out the Earth Cave while I'm there, especially if I've already got the rod in hand. And it looks like Xyrak is moving around. He's dragging his mouse around too, so we might get some mouse cursor strats this evening.
Yeah, and Brott's there saying that he's using a PS4 controller, so who would have thought we would have had an Xbox versus PlayStation battle in the Final Fantasy Randomizer tournament. You're in for a real treat here, folks.
What kind of controller do you play on, Jet?
I'm playing on a Buffalo Super Nintendo controller, and I have the L and R bound to reset, which is playing with fire a little bit, but what can you say? Gotta live on the edge sometimes.
Yeah, that's the same boat that I'm in. I also play on the USB Buffalo SNES controller, and it looks like Xyrak is ready to go. He's naming his party. I'm going to go ahead and drop the gates so we can get this race going. So thank you for being patient. This is gonna be a good race. I could feel it. I could feel it in the ether. I've been rolling some doozies for our runners, but I have a feeling that tonight's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see. Fighter Thief, red black, pretty powerful. Want to see that level 1 fade in the second slot just to kind of tease our runners and be like, should have brought a white mage.
So while this is a fairly standard comp, this was a draft, so you will not see reset and change out to a white mage here, or some 4 red mage shenanigans.
Yeah. And you can see Brott with his teams Forzando, Brott, High Spirits, and Edge, and assuming that's Edge Figaro, Team Roadhouse from the 2018 Fall League. That was the team that he was a part of. And Xyrak looks like he's running JJ, Xyrak, Ked, and Kitten. Chitin. Maybe Chitin. Chitin was a community member, but spelled his name a little bit different. So we're checking the weapon shop first. Got Cat Claw and some Chucks.
So speaking of Fade, we do have Fade at level 1, but it is in the first slot, so his red mage is going to be able to learn that. His knight will be able to learn that in the end game. And
Xyrak didn't check white first, so he doubled up on ice too. He's gonna feel there's maybe reset. get that ice 2 money back, but Fade in life level 1, that's pretty good to have. Because that means our fighter will be able to learn those as well once he promotes.
Yeah,
if he promotes.
We were speaking a little bit before this stream started about early game strats, and actually something that I realized is I always now check white magic first, then go to black before I buy anything because of exactly this. One time I had Fade at level 1, and I checked black magic first, bought something, and it feels so bad to be cursoring over for the entire seed, especially when you're just going to be using that spell on repeat for the entire time.
Yeah. I'll do you one better. I've gone there. I've gone to white magic first, found level 1 Fade, bought it, walked next door, found level 1 Nuke, and was like, crap.
That actually happened to me the seed right after I made that adjustment. I was feeling like, oh man, my Galaxy Brain, so great. I bought Fade instead of, and then I got Nuke at level 1. I was like, okay, you know what? Power, restart. Feels bad.
Those are good problems to have, though. So Brott going to make the cheeky check to provoke a first, even with the level 1 Fade and the Garland kill condition easily met. Still going to get this key item check out of the way first. I like the play. We'll get level 2 here. We'll be able to buy some magic, maybe. Get that thief down. Wonder if this was intentional.
Yeah, I would guess that this was just like an immediate, if I have magic, I'm going to ban the thief, go here right away so I don't give him any experience whatsoever in the early game.
And the bottle for sale in Canaria And there's our incentive Ruby that we were just talking about. So Ruby, real good to find. Bottle, a little less so. I've seen too many seeds with this where the bottle ends up being Thor hammer or opal bracelet or just one of the womp womps, one of the loose gear in the pool.
Yeah, we were talking about. I was talking about this with someone earlier, and I think it ended up being something like 40 or 50% of bottles are whammy items. So
Yeah.
bottle not paying off big time a lot of the time, and not exactly what you want to see in the early game, other than just the fact, you know what, it's a little bit of an EXP boost here.
Yeah, and that's the silver lining there. Every key item they find will be an addition. Life 2 at level 2, and heal 3. Red magic, so good. We can have level 2 nuke. Lit 3 might as well. Lit 3 quad X. That's pretty good. That's strong early magic.
This is definitely not a low magic seed. With these types of things, this is when you're looking at that earlier volcano play, these are the types of things that make you want to go early. And we also see a Massa.
I feel like this seed, Jet, is setting itself up to be a perfect 2-man seed. You take if you're Brott, you've dropped the thief already. You could probably get rid of the black mage at this point and just run fighter red and be fine. With the Masa's life 1, life 2, quad X, lightning 3, and something turned high to stone. Something got high stoned on Brott's screen.
Well, you know what?
I don't know what those wolves were smoking in the woods, but
the game heard your request. You said, you know what, Brott, you want to run a 2-man strat here. Here, have some stone touch.
And like he is going to be in for a treat once he goes to Temple of Fiends. So Garland netting us Oxyel from the King, Canoe from the Princess. So we have the early Canoe. We have a key item check at Crescent Lake. It's surprising that we haven't got an early fetch quest item. Usually in the first few checks, we're going to end up with an herb, a crystal, a TNT, or an adamant. Something that we can turn, or maybe even a crown, something that we can turn in right away. But no such luck. Instead, Canoe and Oxyel, 2 required items as the imps getting high in their own way with Crack outside of Matoya's cave. And that's unfortunate to see.
Yeah, imps with, good abilities, always a little bit scary in the early game, and having no quest items in the early game leads to a kind of not so pleasant scenario where you're way out on the North Continent, and then all of a sudden you get a fetch item, and you're like, do I go back? It's always nice to get a few of them out of the way, but the one thing that could happen is that you end up in a situation where all of them just chain one into another into the other. If if you've ever had a seed where the TNT or the adamant turns into TNT, which turns into the key, that feels really nice.
Yeah, that's the dream. When you can single dip dwarves, that's the dream. Nothing like Dwarf Cave isn't going to be a huge time sink. It's one of those things where every time you go, you lose about 45 seconds walking there, walking through the cave, walking out the cave if you don't have warp or exit. But if you can knock it out in one go, that's like doing, in my mind, similar where like if you have the Oxyel in hand, or the robot in the waterfall gives you Oxyel and you can go mode C while you're there. When you can start proximity routing and nesting checks together, that feels real good. Another example I find is when the King or Princess give you the crystal, so you can just knock Matoya out and you don't ever have to go back there.
Yeah.
I also like when Astos gives you the key. That's another big one for me. The Royals giving you the keys is also another good example of that. Yeah. And Brott getting cracked by those imps. So let's see if he adjusts here. That's the second time the imps have cracked him. We're just gonna straight run. Imps just punching.
Does Xyrak even see that?
No, I don't think he's seen that.
Yeah, so he might be going a little while without saving and then just get pounced on. But to be honest, he's mostly out of the area where he's going to see imps, so he's a little lucky here. Unless they have to make some, the walk to Marsh.
Yeah, the best thing about early skills like crack falling on the imps is that while there is more than one crack in the pool. It's one fewer that we might see in the later game. Like you'd hate to see crack land on mummies or like chimeras, something that you're going to run into a lot of. Medusa, Gerbadu, basically anything that's in more than one dungeon. And mummies, off the top of my head, are the biggest, the most prolific enemy, as they can be on, I think, a few different spike tiles. They're in the waterfall. They're in ordeals. They're in ice cave. They're in earth. Like they're in mirage. Like they're just everywhere. And if they roll a script, it's Nightmare Town. So crack on M's not too bad, unless that's the Medusa script, and then it gets a little shaky.
Then you're gonna find it everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna find it on at least 2 other enemies.
Yeah, 3 total. Yeah.
All right.
So Brott taking on Garland, picking up his Massa, must be happy about that. It looks like we already have a little bit of strategic divergence, if not path divergence here, in that it looks like Brott's trying to put his Black Mage to sleep for a while. Meanwhile, Xyrak seems perfectly happy running 4-man here.
Yeah, like I said, I know I advocated early for the 2-man, like, because this seed is just screaming it with Life and Life 2, both red and night learnable, and early Massa, like, it's like if and level 1 Fade as well. Like if Nuke is at level 3, like GG's, goodbye Wizard. But the experience that I've had running in these flags is when I try to be cute and run 2 or 3-man parties, it feels fine, but when I hit Temple of Fiends, things kind of go off the rails a little bit. There's level 3 Temper and Fire 3, but when I've hit Temple of Fiends with 4, I usually one-shot it. So that's why, yeah.
I've had exactly the same experience when I'm going in with fewer party members. So what I've tended to adjust to is running 2 or 3 throughout some of the earlier game, and then bringing up my Thief just a little earlier than I think some other people will. I'm still a bit of a newer runner, so I'd like the extra security. But if I can get the Thief up to, level 20 or so, that can make a big difference. After my fighter already has the levels he needs, after my red mage already has the charges he needs.
So there's our level 4 Nuke. We also had level 4 Brack and Exit. That's a pretty strong level of magic that's not going to cause too much overlap. You have to pick your battle there with Kraken and Tia if you're going to Brack or Nuke, but for the most part, that's a pretty good level of magic.
Yeah, absolutely. So at this point, the only thing that would be scaring me about a potential 2-man is if where is fast? Will fast be learnable by my red mage or not?
Yeah, considering we haven't seen that yet, there are only 2 other spells that the red mage can learn, and those are both in Melmont. So we won't find those until we get out of the Inner Sea. And there's only 1 at level 6 that the red mage can learn, or the red wizard can learn.
Yeah.
And big shout out to Speed Gaming 5. Thanks for the raid. You guys are just in time. We're 10 minutes into this round 5 of the spring tournament here. Both of these runners 2-2, looking to pick up their 3rd win. A win here gets them 1 step closer to the play-in race for the 4-2 racers, and 1 step away from the last chance qualifier for the 3-3s. That 3-3 last chance qualifier going to be up anywhere from 15 to 20 runners, depending on the availability of the runners or who's going to stick it out. 1 will advance and take a seat in the play-in race. And that play-in race will be a similar sized pool of about 20 people, with about 7 to 9 slots available to make it to the brackets for the finals here.
Yeah. So Caribbees have Fire 2, which in and of itself is not that scary, but when you can get them in packs of larger packs, it can be a lot scarier, especially for this, under-leveled party here.
Yeah. We did find pro rings for sale in Elfland for 5,500. That's pretty good. I think Brott here's going to check the key, and there's our gold bracelets for 13k, so not the worst to get gold bracelets and pro rings for about 18,000. If this isn't floater or something worthwhile here from the old men, and it's a slab, so not worthwhile, there's our 2 floater locked fetch quests with the bottle for sale and the slab in Crescent Lake. We have some decisions to make. We have the incentivized volcano. We have the incentivized ice cave. Xyrak checked the dwarf cave. Nothing doing. There was level 6 fast, so we'll need that black mage for fast. And we have the unincentivized, without the key, 10 boxes in the marsh cave.
So who rolled this seed again?
It was me.
And what happens when Caleb rolls seeds?
You probably want to go to marsh. Not necessarily for progression, as I saw in my last race that I just was on broadcast for, but we did have 2 ribbons in marsh, so and 2 ribbons right now could save this 2-man strat.
I think with exit at level 4, there's definitely a much stronger case to go to something like Volcano or Ice here. I mean, I think there's a stronger case to go there anyways, but exit is really a deal breaker. It's something that makes you feel way more comfortable because you can get in there, get a few levels, get some items, and then be sure that you're getting out. It's not often the dive down that's deadly, it's the walk back up, especially if you're not planning on taking carry, which, for example, in a 2-man strat at level 9, you're definitely not yet.
Yeah. Houses at 3,400, less than ideal. Cabins at 145. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I think that's what Brott's prepping for here. He's doing this walk and grind outside of Crescent to get, I would imagine, some spell charges, maybe for that level 4 exit. Yeah, sorry, my brain dumped out on me.
Yeah, and unfortunately though, he doesn't seem to be finding anything off the power cycle in any of the 4 quadrants, or he hasn't checked all 4, so he's not getting the best grinds here, so it's going to be a while.
Yeah, and exit was, not only was it level 4, but it was very expensive. It was 6,500 gold. Like, that's near max price, I want to say, for a spell at level 4.
Yeah. Luckily here, one thing that you always have to be very considerate of when spending money in the early game is if the next shop you check has your progression, you know, like a shop floater, but with the bottle, we know where that shop item is. You can spend a little bit more freely. I saw a race earlier where someone bought magic first and someone else checked the shop first, and it made the difference of a few minutes because one person could get the key way faster.
So Xyrak getting the information on fast, gonna know that he's gonna want to keep that black mage around for a little bit, and gets his slab from the old men. They were all working together to translate that slab for Dr. Un, and now Xyrak is the courier and gets to go deliver that message.
So Brott leaving, I'll guess that you go to Volcano here, though. What makes you decide whether you want to go to Ice Cave or Volcano?
Whether or not Marsh had something. So there's schools of thought at play, right? You go into Volcano, there's a bunch of boxes on the 2nd floor. It's a pretty free walk to get those boxes. I think that's a free check to make. I think that's what Brott's going to do. If I have Warp over Exit, Ice is a little more intriguing because while it's a long walk to get to the boxes, it's not a long walk to check that incentive box because we can do the Warp trick, which is something that wasn't available in the vanilla game. And if we check that incentivized box and we see that it's floater or something like an inner sea fetch item like adamant or TNT, we can risk the walk out. But if we do that and it's like opal bracelet or power bonk, it's like, well, I'll just continue the dive and just see how far I can get and open boxes. And if I die in here, I'll just go to Volcano.
Yeah, absolutely. And meanwhile, on Brott's side, we have Saber Tease with Stun Touch. Luckily, it's on the spike tile, so not going to be continuing to see that, but that's a little bit annoying. And yeah, I completely agree. Volcano's a little bit easier. I think one of the things that I consider as well is, do I want to go to the bottom of Volcano yet? You can make the ice play if you have Warp, get a few levels on the way, and then potentially be able to go to the bottom of Volcano, especially in Fire Incentive Week here.
Yeah, I think with regard to Volcano, if you have the means, you can clear out the armory floor, walk out, drop a house, and sort of take stock of your your resources. And if one of the 2 spike tiles on this floor are worth taking a couple fights, because we have the level 1 fade, we should be able to clear through any spike tile pretty easily. And so if there's something, even though saber teeth, they're not the best XP, but it's something we could take like 4 fights on and pick up, 2 to 3 levels, walk out, build a house, come back in, and we have those extra levels to make it to the bottom. We're also going to need healing magic or a bunch of heal pots to mitigate all the damage tiles. So walking from top to bottom, if you route it perfectly, hitting all of those vanilla lava tiles, you're going to take a lot of damage. And if the encounter table is kind, you can get from the top to the bottom without taking a fight, but you're still going to have like your mages at 1 HP, so you're going to need heal pots. The life 2 helps. Ooh. Our hydras with glance. I don't know if we have soft potions or not.
I have not seen them pick up a soft potion, so I'm not sure. This very well may just be a check this chest and reset, as I don't think he's found anything worth keeping.
Maybe it'll be a soft potion in a box.
Interesting strategy. So he's bringing up his black mage just to have a couple extra casts.
That's a heads up play. That's a veteran move. That's an adjustment. Shows Brott has had. This isn't his first rodeo. He brought him back up for the 4 ice 2s, but that's still going to help. So
black mage also a decent runner. Obviously not a thief, but just another chance and better than a white mage.
Yeah. All right, and Xyrak continues his Crescent Lake overworld grind, getting pretty good levels there. I saw 2 nuke charges for that black mage already.
And Xyrak finding a set of 4 peds here, which is nice. This is really going to help get him a few levels here, which Brott was never able to find, so must be on a very different part of the encounter table here.
I don't think he's hard resetting. I think he's just soft resetting and just taking the fights as they come. But Brott going to continue this information. Oh no, we were going to try to walk it out. Okay.
I guess maybe he doesn't have enough levels yet for his exit.
I don't think he bought exit.
Oh, he was too broke.
Yeah, because it was very expensive.
So Brott going fast. Xyrak taking the little bit slower but steadier approach. Brott having some consequences for it. No softs, no exits, so definitely a little bit more dangerous of a dive. But still in the volcano a solid few minutes earlier than Xyrak will be.
I like the play here. He dropped his remaining house and is coming back in with red mage, black mage. I don't know if he moved the Masa to the red mage. I would like this play a whole lot more if that's what he did, but we're going to come down here, we're going to check these boxes, cross our fingers that there's a soft potion in a box here. And so far, just some money. Spike tiles ain't kilos, like, that's not what you want to see, and he does have the Masa on the red mage, so...
Yeah. The second house is nice.
Yeah, rewarded with a replacement house, the second. And no soft pots, so maybe in the hairpin.
Yeah, so Brott still not getting much out of this. Xyrak's coming to do exactly the same thing. His red mage is getting good levels, and that will help, especially with the strong magic available here.
Mm-hmm.
But, with even decent magic on that black mage, it's always just another problem with the 2-man party with only 1 caster is just, even if you're higher level, you still have less overall magic charges than if you're running, 2 casters at a slightly lower level.
Yeah, we saw that in, I believe it was week 1 of the spring tournament. There a race between Ale and Ikben Maya where level 1 nuke was available, and Ikben Maya rerolled into 4 red mages. And in the post-game interview, it was just like, I was just hoping my 36 nukes would be enough to save me.
So Brott, that spike tile, he knows these are saber teeth, but he got ambushed, and once again, those saber teeth have stun touch, so no good grind tiles down here. Nothing you want really anything to do with. I would not feel comfortable taking a grind tile with those saber teeth with stun touch at all.
Here comes a gutsy call on Brott's part. Gonna pick everyone up and make a beeline for the Agama floor, and this is a 100% gutsy call here from Brott that Because if we find something, we got to either get it out or we got to go back and buy soft potions anyway. Like we're crossing our fingers hoping that we find a soft potion down here and something that will afford us the opportunity to get out.
Yeah, that red mage barely armored. You know, they have, I believe he has a heal spell on that red mage, but that's about it. Minimal heal pots. This is a really risky dive. I would feel this makes a lot more sense if you have exit.
Yeah.
But without exit, this is going to be tough.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is just for information. Silver bracelet. That's not even going to check the other free box. So if we're not opening, I like this play if we're opening boxes. If we're opening every box we come across, it's pure information. Because right now we have 26 HP between our living party members. We need. When we're relying more on luck than our resources, it can feel bad. And I'm used to playing with hopes and my own hopes and just this is gonna work out. All I gotta do is believe in myself. But it just feels like it should just be an information dive, and I don't agree with skipping a chest on an info dive.
Yeah, with Brott going down, it's making it. I was gonna say it looks like he's going for the incentive location.
Okay.
Checking free chests and then just I think it is an info dive, but it's info incentive, not info chests.
Yeah. No, that's fair, and that makes us a little bit different. Checking very free chests. We do have 2 spike tiles we got to get through to get to this box.
I would be very worried about getting through these spike tiles. Yes, you have fade, but that red mage is still squishy, and there's all sorts of fun stuff you can run into.
All right, wolves, gerwolves with death touch. Oh no! And Brott said, "Not today, Satan. We'll be back." And Xyrak having a little cleaner time coming through here with the 4 light warriors.
So this play makes a lot more sense from Xyrak. Once again, he has exit. I expect he's going to be checking all the chests. He has 4 light warriors up. He has no softs, but that most likely will not be an issue here. And what will be really interesting or funny, I guess, is if one of those chests that he skipped had that soft potion. Just, one small step away.
Well, we'll find out. Starman0 in chat calling us, saying we cursed that dive by Brott. I don't know if we cursed it so much as called the odds there, but definitely wasn't expecting to see Death Touch with Gerwolves.
I was actually just about to say, Gerwolves not so bad, except for the fact that there's 7 of them, which means if they have anything...
Ooh, and Xyrak took the tile and doesn't see the Death Touch, so you can avoid that spike tile just by checking the left side of the box. So, Flame Shield, nice consolation prize here. Yeah, throw that wooden armor down on the ground. It's not going to help you in the volcano here. It's actually going to be awesome if it worked against you like Breath of the Wild, wearing wooden armor on the volcano.
Yeah, or electric armor, metal armor in storms.
Yeah. And there's another member of Team Roadhouse in chat, Edge Figaro. You're leading the way right now for Brott. We found early Masa, and since then, Brott tried to commit to a 2-person party, but Glance our Hydras had it in for him. There's another house, back-to-back houses. We got a whole housing development down here, and there's the Ankylos that we saw.
And that's a lot of money. There was 54,000 in that box, and that is always really nice to see early. That's going to make it so that you can get all that stuff that you need in the early game, get spells, get those cheap pro rings, even afford a few of those gold bracelets, which is really going to increase the survivability of this 4-person party here.
Oh, that Ankylo just ate a nuke, a fate, and a Masa swing. Let's talk about a resource drain for a heal pot in 2300. It's yeah. Luckily, that spike tile's not guarding any more boxes for us.
I still get the feeling that Xyrak is going to be going down to carry. We'll see. The decision point is going to be after he checks that incentive chest. I believe he has a charge of exit here, so he has the opportunity to exit out, and another nice chunk of cash there. So he's very rich, and he will not be needing anything for the remainder of this game, money-wise.
Yeah, Ice Sword, nice pull there for the red mage. Yeah, I think early money wise, unless because we saw pro rings for 5,500, we saw the gold bracelets for like 14k, so not gonna cost too much money, and no soft potions so far. And Xyrak's gonna have to take this girl fight again and tempt fate with the death touch, and gonna heal up. I guess this is preemptive, not knowing that these spike tiles are linked and thinking that this might be the Ankilo spike tile, but
Health not going to do much good for you against Death Touch.
nope, but he doesn't know that.
So, Brott finally finding his soft.
Run away! Run away!
Don't tempt fate.
He knows now.
Okay, gets the fire 3 off. Oh, these Gerwolves have some health.
Yep. Gerwolves in the vanilla game have some health to begin with, and luckily only gets 1 death touch. Doesn't have life 2.
Interesting. Must have had some money issues.
Yeah, didn't buy life 2 and Provoca. I don't think life 2 was that expensive. Did he? I wonder if he didn't check level 2 magic.
It's likely that he's like, oh, I have Fade in life. White magic. Who needs that in the early game? But
yeah.
That's.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Okay, we got initiative. Okay, that's fine. That's the upside to having some levels on that fighter at the front.
So Xyrak coming up to decision time. About to take 2 spike tiles.
Yeah, I think this is 100% an exit out.
At this point, oh,
Well,
that is a nice EXP.
Yeah, that's a good fight. That's a good fight to throw a Fade and a nuke at.
I think this is going to tell us if he is thinking about exiting out or not. Because if he's exiting out, I'm throwing everything at this fight.
Yeah, take this a couple times. Get to like level 15. Considering he's throwing fire 3s and poison touch isn't terrible as long as we've got some. And Brott making the big brain plays, going to Marsh.
So Brott also realizing who rolled the seed. Tired of Volcano. Unfortunately, he's also going to run into those Gerwolves in there.
Yeah. So there's level 13, and we got some poison people, and it's a tail.
Wow, this is like...
So Marsh or Ice Cave has our canal.
And also likely some... I guess they do have an early Ruby, so yeah, I'll back up on that. I was going to say, they just have nothing leading to anything at this point.
Yeah.
Tail, Bottle.
Yeah, tail, bottle, and slab, yeah. And no one's bought the bottle yet, so...
Scums have Zap. Don't you love Marsh Cave?
There was a conversation in the Discord not too recently about Zap and its accuracy. I like Zap. It's so much more effective against light warriors than enemies, though.
So Brott not even saving outside Marsh Cave. He just died and just is like, nope. You know what? Yeah. I think it's time to go somewhere else.
Yeah, Xyrak. I mean, this is a gutsy call here. We've got resources to get through this. We got 1 Fade. We got a couple Tempers. I would like this a whole lot more if we had some way to get evasion onto that fighter. Doesn't have to be the ruse or the defense sword or white shirt, but even if we just had like single target invis, something to make that fighter soak a hit from carry.
Now, one thing I will note here, and I think this makes this play a little bit less scary, is there's nothing down here that you need to have now. So
True.
If he wipes, it's not like he's missing out on a floater. You know, he's missing out on a slab. He's coming back here anyways.
I think of Rocky 4. If he wipes, he wipes.
But this is exactly how my last seed ended. I just went all the ways down here, was fighting carry 1, and just took a bunch of punches and was like, okay, that was unfortunate.
Carrie's got some health. She's taken about 800 damage so far.
Carrie also punches hard.
Yeah. So down goes Carrie and the red mage for Xyrak, but he's through. He lights his first orb at the 31-minute mark. That feels pretty good. You know, we got to go back to Crescent Lake to pick up the red mage, but yeah.
Yeah, if I'm Xyrak here, I'm feeling really good about all that. Like, that is about as good of an early Fire Week seed as you can get. You get through Volcano, you get the incentive item, you get through carry on your first dive. You have, basically everything you need too. You have life, you have fast, you have temper, you have fade, you have nuke at level 6. But still, this is a pretty good position to be in.
Yeah, I would say Xyrak's, very strong position right here. Brott in a much better place now. Picking and putting the silver bracelet on the red mage. I would have probably kept that on the black mage. Silver bracelet, chain armor have the same absorb. Red mage was wearing chain. The only difference being a slight boost to the evasion from the bracelet over the armor, and because now that black mage only wearing a pro ring.
Though those pro rings should be of note as a great pickup before diving back into Volcano here.
Yeah.
Now hopefully he runs from these, because these ankles are tanky.
Tank Leos. Sounds like a weird kind of army cereal.
Really? It sounded like a Pokemon to me. I'm like, that 100% is a Pokemon.
So the red mage gets away, and that's why we were working way back down to a 2-person party. Okay, so we've got a bucket full of soft potions. We've got a few pures.
From how aggressively Brott's been playing the seed so far, I am fully expecting a carry fight here.
Yeah, and we know Carrie's got some health, and she punches real hard. But now we have 2 melee options.
But will it be fast enough? Because Xyrak saw an ink, but that's not necessarily going to happen here, because she was doing a mixed script, some punches, and you can always roll the wrong way, and if it's punch or punch, Brott's party is going to be hitting in the dirt, and it's going to feel real bad to wipe out of here a second time.
And Xyrak making the play, spending all that money he's found on gold bracelets on his 4 light warriors. I think that's important to note. He's still running the 4 up.
So maybe
significant strategy divergence.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe my co-commentator Caleb here, or chat can help me out. Did Brott pick up exit when he was in Elfland? I have to assume he did, but I haven't seen it yet.
I did not either. So we'll see. Next time he gets into a fight, I'm sure he'll cast magic. Yep, he did. He picked up nuke and exit.
Okay, so...
And Burt Reynolds in chat, see you in Marsh in about 15 minutes. That's what my brain's been thinking. I mean, there's more chests in Ice than there are in Marsh, and Ice is incentivized, so this is the probability play. This is the it makes sense play to go to Ice, but the themes that I've seen over the course of Swiss is if I get early Canoe, that does not mean that Volcano and Ice are the play. It can be, but not always.
Unfortunately, you can also get what I call the whammy canal, which is if you get the canal in Marsh, you feel like you have a galaxy brain, but then the floater was in Ice. That's not good. Yeah. That's really not good.
Yeah, because if I get the canal early, I'm not coming back to Ice for a while. And Brott going to take the grind here. I like this with his exit, so he's going to get some good levels here, burn off his fades, burn off all of his magic, save 1 level 4 charge to exit out, drop a house, and then he'll probably sprint down here. So heads up play from Brott here.
And I like this if you're going to do the 2-man, you need levels on them, because you're looking for that extra health, that extra MDef. And without it, these 2-man threats are way riskier, as we were seeing early, but this is now a chance for his, I guess, the strategic trade-off to start to pay off more, because his red mage is going to have 9 fade charges. His red mage is going to have 6 exit and nuke charges. So he's going to be in a lot better spot there.
But that was it. And we're good to go. So I'm not going to... I think I would have probably spent a little bit more time, but level 15, level 16 is pretty good. It's just... And we're going to talk but not heal up right away, so we're going to just swing and nuke. All offense. 4 hits, 501, out comes a nuke. We get the Alpha Strike. 591 damage in one round. We know she rolled up. Punched with stun touch, so time to just lay on the magic. Here comes another fade. And we squeak by Carrie as Brott lights his first orb about 5 minutes later. 37 minutes. He's got to go to Ice Cave or Marsh, and probably doesn't want to go to Marsh because he saw those zappy scums.
Yeah, so after walking to Marsh earlier, I don't think Brott was going to Marsh in the first place from here, but now he's definitely not going to Marsh.
No.
Now, Brott, that wipe did hurt, had a little bit extra time, but on the bright side, he did pick up Exit here. If he had beaten Volcano on his first go-round, he would have been doing an exitless ice, which would have been much more miserable. So, some small edge gain there. He has his pro ranks, his party's at a nice healthy level here.
Yeah.
He's up to 6 or 7 fade charges now. So
he's in a good spot.
Xyrak giving us those walk strats. I like it.
Gotta watch out for those banana peels. Especially if Dangu's been in here. Dangu just likes to... And Xyrak? I like this. We're skipping... I thought we were skipping boxes the first walk through. And just beelining for the progression.
So I would not be skipping boxes on the first walkthrough either because I have Exit. So...
Yeah. Good call. Yeah, so we skipped 2 boxes. Hope it wasn't a box we needed.
He may be checking them on the way back. He might just think he doesn't have charge. He has charge. He has plenty of charges, plenty of levels.
Yeah. So prepping before the spike tile fight. Don't know what's going to be here. It's always a smart play.
Xyrak's definitely taken the more cautious approach to the seed, which I think has so far paid off for him and something I respect. This is also some good experience, though. These guys can roll up a little bit, so we'll have to see. And they always do punch hard.
Yeah. And they rolled up on evade too, but the sentries having less HP than the guards, that's a good fight. I would take that again.
Yeah, sentries 4,000 EXP base. So
yeah, they're super thin.
And so the reason they're not getting 1,000 experience each is because of the 5% bonus for each key item here.
Yeah. Guards with fire 3. That's not good. So
no, and we did not see that in the first few fights. So he will not be taking this again.
And the guards with gaze and stone touch. Not like this.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay. So
Xyrak has a second chance to check those other chests. Maybe this time he'll decide to do so.
That's one of the scariest feelings in this game is like, hey, I found a pretty good grind. Let me do this for a while. And then like, derp, 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 8 battles in. Oh, you have nuke. And you never had a chance to use it.
The one time big eyes have something, or 3 eyes have something scary.
Yeah. Ugh, it's terrifying. And Gasty's with Ruse, but very little HP. So this is a better grind.
Wow. This is just experience. Oh, but speaking of grinds with scary things, these Gasties have Blizzard.
Blizzard, not the worst thing in the world. We have a flame shield.
And not only that, once again, the benefit of this 2-person party is not only do you get more health, you also get more magic defense, which is essentially more effective health.
So hopefully this doesn't turn on Brott and it's just both runners have grinds work against them. Because now we're grinding Gasties, and I don't think Xyrak checked this box, so...
Yeah, I think he's going... Oh no, he's going right down.
Yep.
So Xyrak playing? Yeah,
still
skipping a few chests here.
Still skipping the left side. This would be a... This is a fantastic grind for either party, but the 4-person would have a little bit easier time with it with all those nukes, but we could already see up to level 20 and 21. We just got to keep that red mage alive. That red mage goes down, we're in problem town.
Yeah, once again, exit just so critical in these early grinds, just making you feel so much more secure. This is not, Temple of Fiends, where the spike tile is right there, or even better, Astos or Northwest Castle.
Yeah.
This is a little deep, so without exit, this is scary. But with exit, you're always feeling okay.
Yeah. And is Brott going to show us the boxes to the left? Unrunnable Frosties.
With some evasion and some absorb.
So this will mean that the Frosties in Ice, or in Temple of Fiends, are also going to be unrunnable, as that's the B side of that encounter.
Xyrak finding an Oathful Shield. So once again, if you had money problems, would be a concern, but might hold on to it for now if we don't find an Aegis.
Mad Ponies, that's fine.
They can punch a little hard, but nothing his party can't handle at this point.
Okay, so Xyrak either orphaned the canal in those 2 boxes, or it's in Marsh Cave. And there's another big grind tile right there with worms. How's their HP looking? More than 270.
Yeah, not. These are fairly thick worms. I think those Gasties are looking like the best grind if you're going to come back for something.
Yeah. These. What's up, big worm? So, Brott checking the 2 boxes. Xyrak skipped them and skipped them well with a cap and 2 gold there. So, and we've got a cube. So yeah, we should have gone to Marsh.
So Brott not going to be happy about this because he did actually go to Marsh. He walked in and immediately noped out after Scums had Zap. So,
yeah, as you do.
Xyrak is about to find that lovely. Xyrak seems to be getting the bad business on the second time. You know, like he's not seeing it right away. Brott, he just gets hammered, punched to the face, but then he can prepare. Xyrak, you know, he gets through a little bit further and then gets the business.
Yeah. Hey, Burt Reynolds, you can come back now. We're going to Marsh. All right. Yeah, I think if both run, like when Brott gets this information that we needed to go to Marsh the whole time, and Xyrak is going to be in Marsh, like now has that information in his head, seeds of doubt begin growing in your mind. If you're as paranoid as I am when you're racing these flags, is, oh my god, I just wasted 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Incentive tail, incentive cube. I don't need those things now. No ribbons, no good gear, just money and like decent gear. You know, like nothing phenomenal. And luckily for our runners, they both did the same plays because these are the standard routing plays. These are what you're supposed to do. The 10 boxes in Marsh Cave aren't supposed to have the thing you're looking for when you get the early canal, but oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, early canoe, thank you.
Yeah, I honestly, out of this early game, sure, Xyrak, you know, is going to be out of here maybe a minute or 2 earlier out of the Inner Sea. Probably 2. But not really that big of a difference. I would say the biggest storyline coming out of here, if you're just joining, is the difference in strategies. So Brott, Caleb was like, this is a 2-man, potential 2-man here. We have Fade at level 1, we have Red Mage learnable life and life 2, and Fighter learnable life and life 2. So Brott going to that 2-man, Danning the Thief, Danning the Black Mage. Meanwhile, Xyrak's kept 4 up this entire time, sharing EXP, and honestly, because of having just a little bit better time of things, partially because of a 4-man and partially just because of the way things roll, Xyrak having almost comparable levels. He's probably 4 levels behind, which is not much considering he's running a full party of 4 here.
Yeah, and he's going to go back and get that level 2 life too. This is the right play here. What I'm fascinated by, Jet, is we talked about it at the top of the race. This is a draft. The contributions that Brott picked for the draft were the Thief and the Black Mage. The party that Brott is running is not the Thief and the Black Mage. So
Brott was actually throwing misdirection strats. He was trying to get his opponent to pick what he wanted to play.
And look at that, Brott figuring out the encounter table, knows that if he burns 2 at the top of the hard reset, he gets a good run here. So that's the first time we've seen runners begin encounter manipulating, and he's probably following an audio cue because he stopped like 1 step from a fight, it looked like.
Yeah, I find when the encounter table's just a little bit further down, it takes a little bit more time for them to get dialed in, but we'll have to see if Xyrak finds that long run, because if he doesn't, that can be a big advantage. Over the course of the seed, those long runs can save you tens of encounters, and that can add up to minutes.
Oh yeah. And you can see that he's already used the encounter manipulation to his advantage, as he's already... I mean, if you want to call it, he's technically ahead of Brott, as he's already out of the armor shop.
Yeah, Xyrak did have to make a little pit stop in Provoca, which is why they're now holding hands again, but I completely agree. Also, just, you know, in many ways, Brott did all of this when he wiped. You know, he came here, bought the pro rings, did all that shopkeeping. Xyrak, meanwhile, having to do the same thing now. So our runners, once again, extremely neck and neck. The only noticeable difference is the difference in strategies and how that's going to play out going forward.
Yeah, without ribbons, the marsh play is going to be a little spookier for Brott, because at least with Xyrak we have one person that can cast life and 3 that can get zapped. For Brott, we have one person that can cast life and one, you know, like you... Yeah, it's like 50-50 whether or not the red mage is going to get the one that's zapped out before we get out of that fight, where Xyrak might have, like, the fighter gets zapped and red mage is fine and we can just continue on.
So Caleb, I get strategies as far as, hey, let's put the guy with lots of lots of HP in the front. But when you're dealing with something as scary as Zap here, and once you know it's there, do you move your thief to the first spot just to try and improve your ambush chances here?
The Mucks have Cure 4. Yeah, I think that's valid. Yeah, if you're Xyrak and you're running the 4 up, yeah, I think moving the thief up front to help with the ambush is okay. We got Cheese in chat pointing out the thief is pretty low level.
Oh, yeah, not for Brott. I meant for Xyrak in particular.
Yeah. So, I think so.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I was just curious about your opinion on that. Because here I'm not really worried about getting punched out by these guys. I'm worried about getting zapped out.
Yeah, and there's our canal, and the top box and the top left box and Marsh Top. That is a linked chest that most people don't factor in. They know that the bottom room here, the left chest, is linked to the second floor, but that top box is also linked to the second floor, to the far left room when you're on your way to the marsh bottom. So
if you're Brott, that feels bad. Like you were, you know, 50 steps away from that 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's the linked boxes here are only really a factor if you're running entrance floor shuffle, but
so Brott going down, he's like, I'm here, I'm gonna head down anyways. We'll see if Xyrak does the same. So Brott knows there's some spooky, scary things in here. This is, you know, flirting with disaster a little bit. He's got some levels. He's got that extra MDef. This is, once again, you have the higher odds of the person you need to live getting hit, but you also have lower odds of that person dying when he gets hit. So it's kind of a trade-off here.
I like the continued dive though. So Xyrak's out. Says nope, I don't want those boxes on the bottom. I'm going to gamble that those 6 boxes aren't things I needed, and there's the zap, and it, like we said, it was 50-50, and it spared the red mage, so we're able to continue on.
Maybe we'll give some homework to someone in chat right now. I wonder what the odds of Zap being successful here. I believe we're around level 20 or so. So maybe we can have a duckling in chat pick up that formula, give us the odds. Oh, level 22.
Cheese, go do math. Get Zeus Gauntlet.
Well, you don't want to see comm math. Twitch math is not a thing.
And lobsters and sea trolls, it's not a terrible spike tile, but we get the FFR special as Fade kills everything but one, and we're down to 1 box left.
Yeah. So Brott did pick up Zeus Gauntlets here, so something nice, especially in a 2-man with AoE, but I mean, with the fighter having that mass already, except in large parties, he's going to be doing more damage by swinging than with that Zeus.
Well, so one of the things that's pivotal for a 2-man party is the fighter being able to cast magic. So, yes, he will do more damage on a single target, but if you hit something, and we're going to reset out of the the Zeus Gauntlet. But item magic very important for a 2-man party, because if we hit a big pack of something that's unrunnable, meleeing that down is going to be a problem. But throwing like 2 Zeus Gauntlets at it might be enough to kill it. And no Cure 4 or Cure 3 or Harm 4, but only the top slot there, and the second slot upon promotion. And Lock 2 and Bane locked to promotion for the red mage. Look like Lock 2 will be locked to promotion for both in that third slot.
Yeah, so I would definitely remember that. Lock 2 has played big dividends in this tournament so far.
Mhm.
We've seen a number of people walk in, with their power bonk feeling good, and then just 0 hits. Miss against, Kraken or Tia or Chaos, and that can be feel bad, man.
Xyrak, you got the ruby. Xyrak, you got the ruby. No!
Oh yeah, I think ruby's a free check here. I can't imagine Brott not checking it, and if that ruby's... Oh, are you remembering it? You see it right there. That's Sarda. Go back.
Reset. Xyrak, no. Go back. Where are you going? Interesting pathing from Xyrak here. This is definitely a way to get to Onrak.
Neither of our runners going to be getting Lupa-Lupa'd.
Nope.
So Xyrak making, a fairly standard play out of here, but the ruby really changes the math here. When I get a ruby, I 2 items. It trumps almost anything, even if I'm sailing halfway around the world. Maybe I'll do 1 proximity check, but Brott's going to check this out, and if this is something like the floater, this is a big decision. So
yeah, Xyrak must have brain dumped that he missed the ruby there, because the ruby turning into 2 checks here, definitely more of a priority than sailing all the way to the waterfall. Brott, keep track of his inventory. He knows he's got the ruby. He's going to turn that in and get 2 key items here.
Yeah, I sometimes think you only have so many slots in your brain, and Xyrak may have thought, hey, I have the Oxale. I got that early Oxale. I'm getting called to Waterfall C. And no loose found yet. For those of you just tuning in, we found no loose other than a loose canal on the top floor of Marsh. So he might be taking lots of chests.
That's a big pack of death touch. All right, so Brott didn't do the Titan stroke check, but I imagine we're going to check that on the way back.
Wait, Xyrak does not have the ruby. Where was the ruby? Was it... My best guess is Bicky? Chat, maybe you can help us out here.
Oh, if he scuffed Bicky.
Yeah, my best guess is Bicky, because I can't think of anything else. It wasn't King or Sarah.
This is why we need a tracker. Uh-oh. Was it... What came from Crescent Lake then? Crescent Lake was a slab. Bottle for sale. Yeah. There's our incentive power gauntlet. So maybe Xyrak will be forgiven here, but if he scuffed Bicky, he's not going to remember that. That's a full clear. So...
Robot giving us the key, so also slightly just unfortunately placed. Nothing wrong with the routing here, but I hate seeing the key in Waterfall because it means there and back again. You're going to be doing a Hobbit's journey.
And what did Sarda give us?
That silence is me waiting for chat to tell me, because I was trying to scan my memory, trying to remember where the root.
Thank you. So
professional commentator Will Cleosis coming in big for us here, helping us out.
So yeah, I was busy watching Xyrak through the waterfall. Yeah, so if the herb here, if this turns into Thunder or Thorhammer, not the end of the world for Xyrak to scuff the ruby here.
Yeah, and I like Brott's. I've really liked a lot of Brott's routing here. Just sailing around efficiently. That type of thing really makes a big difference. He's been encounter manipulating nicely, and it's really adding up to some time saves.
Ooh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. So Xyrak send all your positive thoughts to Xyrak that he's never gonna remember that he didn't talk to Bicky. And I hate to say that, but like I've been there and I've seen other runners that have been there, and if you forget that, like there's no way, like you're gonna think that the seed's broken before you remember to go back and do that.
Yeah, and Xyrak, without the ruby, making a logical play here. He says, I have the Oxale, I'm looking for a loose. I have a bottle and a slab turn in, so I'm looking for what might be a loose floater. You know, no chime, no rod. Already checked marsh. This all makes sense, but this is going to really, really hurt here.
Yeah, this is one of those things that you make this mistake once, and you don't make it again.
Yeah. Now, Xyrak still does have an out here. We could get 2 whammy items from Bottle Slab, and then he could just be running this floater list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we've only found the Power Bonk at this point.
Yeah. So it depends on what's here in the Cardia Islands. If there's a loose required here, we know Xyrak's in for the bad times. But he gets a ribbon out of the mermaids, so there's a nice consolation prize.
Yeah. Brott smartly going to promote pretty much right away here. His people are already quite high level, so making sure you get those magic charges.
There's our first loose. So loose opal bracelet. So
at this point, that means at least one of the bottle of the slab is going to turn into a required item, because we already have the tail and we have the 2 other whammy items. So this is dire situations for Xyrak.
Yeah, not the loose we were looking for.
Yeah. Well, speaking of other things, what do you think here about mermaids first?
Clearing up a question from chat. Slab could not turn into bottle. The bottle was the vendor item in Canaria. I like the mermaid play first. We got to exit. Come down here, open all these boxes. You know, see what's shaking. We're looking for 2 loose. Yeah. There's an Aegis shield.
Xyrak is also going to be opening a lot of boxes because he's going to be looking for a loose forever, essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, Brott going into promote, the fighter and the thief getting magic charges every 2 levels after 15. So his people already being level 22 or so, wanting to get those early so he doesn't have to level a ton to get enough life 2 charges on that night.
Yeah. I don't know about doing C before doing ordeals. So
yeah, it's probably just a proximity check. I do tend to do left side C first, and then maybe do mermaids later. But going back in, getting an orblet is always nice. And it's very unlikely that you're going to find 2 loose on the left side of C, so you may be coming back for mermaids quickly anyways.
Yeah. Alright, the rest of Cardia is shaking out. Not much doing. Alright, Brott, where are you going now? Maybe go buy magic for your night.
I think I might be getting a bottle.
Yeah. I would imagine we'll probably also pick up magic though too.
Oh,
while we're at it. Want to single dip? Don't want to double dip towns more than you have to. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get Fade. We're gonna get life. We'll probably pop over to Provoca, buy that life too.
Has he bought gold bracelets already? Gold? I don't think he actually needs them because he has the Opal Cheerio.
Yeah, he won't need them. And something was. I'm imagining that's another glance because we've already seen Stone Touch on the robots. So
currently, that encounter always being unrunnable, but there is much rumblings on the alpha and beta site about that no longer having to be the case. So stay tuned.
Oh yeah, it's if you run a seat on the beta or the alpha site, that fight can be runnable. No,
that's still not in production yet. It's a secret to everyone. This is a long-standing tradition of unrunnable sags with the hags.
Times change, my friend, and there's a lot of fun options on the beta side of the website and the alpha site. All kinds of neat things you can play with. One of the more popular features has been what we in the community call blurst weapons, or random weapon and armor bonuses, where gear, weapons, and armor can have a random bonus assigned to it, either +1 all the way up to +5 or -1 all the way down to -5, and those numbers correlating to stat changes in the weapon. So if you're familiar with like old school D&D stuff, you know, like the difference between a +1, +2 weapon, similar concept to that, but a little bit different just for the randomizer.
Yeah, Final Fantasy definitely not already taking enough from D&D. There's definitely no mind flayers or anything like that in this game. No copyright issues whatsoever.
And Space Drake in chat calling out the tooltips on the beta site. A lot of those were done in part by Dark Moon EX, one of our community leaders, helps out with the race crews and a lot of the creative layouts and stuff. The layouts you're watching for all the spring tournament were designed by Dark Moon. So you see that guy popping around in chat, give him some love. He's one of our most creative volunteers when it comes to some of this stuff. So
yeah, I 100% agree. Those tooltips are absolutely invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
Xyrak still... Oh, okay. He was playing a little bit fast and loose with chests still. Brott, meanwhile, encounter manipulating to get a little bit of a nice run here through ordeals. No warp, has exit, but that does not save nearly as much time as it does in something like Waterfall here.
Yeah, and unrunnable 7 Argoyles. This is almost a reset for me. This is just, we're going to slow you down.
Oh, I love it when they have something like slow, because then it just tells you what the fight's going to be, so you can reset right away.
I don't think anybody likes Argoyles.
No. With Poison Touch.
I don't think anybody likes your Goyles either. Oh!
Folks, it is only 10:15. It's going to get better.
Alright. And a light axe. So that's fine. I don't hate the plays that Xyrak's making. He's getting good levels across the board for all of his light warriors. He's just got to remember to go back and talk to Bicky.
Yeah, this would be once again, a very interesting race between two slightly different routes and very different strategies. If it wasn't for that just Ruby just hanging over everything right now.
So I think what we have to hope for is either the bottle or the slab turn into the chime.
Yes.
That way, and that the other one turns into the Thor hammer.
Or the,
yeah, because like you don't want them to turn into the loot, because that will literally be Xyrak opening every box in the game. If it's the
that's why I'm saying chime and rod. I think will be the best case scenario because it locks the most chests away.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I was thinking a whammy and the chime. That way, he'll see everything and know that he's missing an incentive chime and a loose item in the card, like in a place that he can't check. So he'll know that floater is required, and maybe he'll start doubling back sooner. But yeah, you're right. If Rod is one of them too, that means he can't go deeper into Earth, and we'll save him sometime.
Oh, I was going to say a saving grace might be that Life 2 is in Provoca, but then he can't use the tail, so he's not even going to go back for that.
Yeah.
Mummy's not posing much threat. Spike Tile, yes, unrunnable Argoyles. Joy.
Womp womp.
I swear everything has had Poison Touch so far this seed. Every time I look at someone's screen, it's just like poison, poison, poison. Or,
we've seen a lot of Stun Touch too, but I think there's 14 Stun Touches to get scripted around. So, alright. What do we got? We're still looking for one loose. Hoping it's the Thor hammer.
Xyrak taking a grind tier. This is good EXP for sure.
Yeah.
I'm always a little hesitant to take a grind, deep in sea. Not that deep, but fairly deep. Or deep in any dungeon, especially when, like, ice, you can always go back to those grinds in Ice Cave.
Yeah.
Because, if he's going to fight Kraken here, and you never know what you're going to get with Kraken. A lot safer with a 4-person, but if you wipe after grinding, oh man. And I can't imagine that Xyrak's going to exit out here to conserve these levels.
And there's the Vorpal for Brott, and Xyrak orphaning the rest of left side C on the Sharknado floor.
Unfortunately, all these orphan chests are just going to come back to bite him even more.
Yeah, because he's gonna come back and check all these. And so Xyrak, we talked about it at the top of the hour. Big runner in the free enterprise and link to the past randomizer communities. You can see kind of showing the duckling feathers there as he's kind of mispathing through the Kraken floor. That's one of those things you clean up over time. And when he watches his VOD back, and Brott veteran runner, he'll be able to compare what Brott did to what he's doing and make adjustments based on that. That's one of my favorite things about the spring tournament. You get to race a lot of different people. You get to watch those VOD backs and get feedback on how they're doing, not just by the commentary team, but by just your own eyes watching your competitor.
Yeah,
do
absolutely.
what they did.
As someone who's myself getting my duckling feathers wet, something that I've been finding has been helping a lot is every time I do a dungeon and counting, okay, 1 extra step, 2 extra steps, 4 extra steps, and every single time, and it's really made a big difference. Every time it's been going down, like my last Temple of Fiends, I was down to, I think, just 1 extra step there and back, and previously my first time I did it was like 30, so definitely makes a big difference, and every step counts, especially when you have unrunnable gargoyles and things like that.
I'm gonna need you to stop getting good at this game. Because like I just do stuff and I'm just like, why didn't this work? Oh, I probably did a lot of dumb things. And there's so many like new players in the community learning, and there's the Thor hammer from the bottle. So
Slab has to turn into something, unfortunately. So we're hoping for Chime at this point, I would say.
oh, but what if it's the crystal to the adamant to the crown? Here's Kraken 1. We're going to be swinging and tempering and fasting. So, all right. Invasion comes out. There's a fasted swing from the Masa. 5 hits, 413.
Yeah.
And Red Mage soaks a hit. It's pretty good.
While I respect the white shirt strats here, I generally will just go, especially with, a cast of nuke, a cast of fast, a cast of fade. I guess the ninja's not, or the thief is not doing much else here, so the white shirt makes sense.
Yeah. And Brott gets the adamant from the Lefinians as Xyrak lights his second orb. So, question from chat. Space Drake, it is only 1 stone touch. There's only 1 stone touch and 1 death touch. And if those fall, like if an enemy with stone touch falls on the Medusa script, the touch effect is not shared on the script. Only the skills and spells.
So Brott immediately turning in that adamant. We will see what Smithy McBeardsmith here has for us.
Okay.
And there's the rod. So at least it's not the loot. Oops.
Well, that means our loot might be loose.
But it can't be in Marsh.
And I like
this. It can't be that bad.
Brott able to do both dwarves at the same time. So gets the crown from the TNT. And you can light up his and there's the chime. So we have a loose loot.
We do indeed have a loose loot, and at this point, it could be in one of the checks that Xyrak skipped in left side C.
Well, I
they
think
haven't seen the key locks yet.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's a loose crystal to loot now. But yeah, $20 says it's in the top floor Earth.
Once again, who rolled the seed?
I did. It's
so,
gonna be an Earth.
So for those of you who are just tuning in, we have quite an interesting race here going on. We have Brott, a seasoned veteran of this particular randomizer, coming back to fight it out in the 2-2 brackets versus Xyrak, a seasoned runner in many randomizers and multi-sport athlete, I guess you could say. Brott immediately dropping down to a 2-man strat versus Xyrak keeping all 4 party members up. Both people have had some success and some failures. Brott had a little bit of trouble getting through Volcano the first time, meanwhile Xyrak cleared on the first try. But the big story right now, Xyrak forgot to talk to Bicky to get his ruby, which led to the floater, which led to a required item. So Xyrak going to be moving around, but at some point we're going to see those Animal Crossing question marks coming up over his head as he's like, what on earth is going on?
Yeah. And what we need to have happen in order for this the back end of this race to maintain its competitiveness is Topher has to be very scary for this two-man party, and I don't see that happening, but it could. If we get a punch-happy Kraken that likes to, that can two-round our party, but if we're digging for a loose loot, it's not going to be in our natural pathing through one of our incentivized dungeons. So we're going to have to go out of our way to find it. Xyrak is going to have to double back and open boxes. Brott will be in full clear mode until he finds it. And so basically, as Xyrak's doubling back on stuff, Brott will likely be into Topher.
Yep.
Till Xyrak remembers to talk to Bicky, which you want him to do it right away, but there's so many logic gates in your brain that just shut that down, because in Xyrak's mind he did that.
Yeah, it's checked off. It's in the past.
Yeah, it's like it's like when you accidentally pop the bottle and you don't think that you forget that you got the bottle, and you're just like, what am I forgetting? And you're just like, or if you translate the slab really early and you forget that you've done that. There's a lot of bad things that can happen, and
hard game's hard.
Yeah, I know Xyrak is using, because we saw in the pregame as he was getting crop. I know he's using the emo tracker to track what he's doing. I don't know if he
clicks the locations. Or
yeah,
yeah.
So
yeah, Brott doing what I would expect here. He's going straight to left side. This is generally my preferred play as well. Get it out of the way. He's only one. The key difference here is he's one incentive away, one loose away. So if you're two, you can do mermaids, but with only one, if it's left side C and you do mermaids first, you're wasting a ton of time. Versus the number of extra steps that you're taking to check all the chests left side, if it is a mermaids, is not that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Edge pointing out that this two-man party is really strong versus Topher, and I agree. And they have everything they could want for a two-man party, except for, I believe, Fast.
Yeah, Fast was level 6 and locked to black magic. Alright, but Brott will show us the chests that Xyrak skipped. And where are you going now, Xyrak?
Yeah, the only thing better than, finding two loose early is knowing that you need to find loose. Because then at least you know you're not just opening chests for no reason.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Checking the water room. A little bit of money. And a rib. Yep, go back for that. Cool. Ribbon's super important. We can throw that pro ring on the ground. We're going to put it... Yeah, it's a smart play. Put it on our big life caster first. We know if he goes to mermaids, he'll get a second ribbon, and then he'll be fine.
Yeah, but even if he doesn't, he may leave mermaids till much later after he's cleared sky. We'll see, though. Yeah. Brott at super healthy levels here. I believe it was around 28 on both party members, so... Oh, 26. The red mage is higher because he was one-manning for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brott. Yeah, it's really hard to. You want Xyrak to check Bicky, but we know how close he is, and it's just, are you gonna do it? Please do it. Oh, we're going into this. Okay, we're gonna park at the dock, not at the canoe.
Yeah.
As I'm talking, he's making me a liar.
Bars here. And hey, we're gonna get a bridge boss. Thank you once again to all the developers and testers and everyone who's part of the community who made it happen. Xyrak showing disrespect to the Hooray Dwarf. I saw him even dodge around him.
No time for memes. We got to go fast. All right, first look at the key locks. Pro ring. Well, if we didn't already find them. So nothing doing in the Dwarven Armory.
So yeah, right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, man. You got it.
I was gonna say Ragnarok checking in, saying there's still one loose left. Yeah. So Brott found a loose Opal Cheerio in the Cardia Isles. However, there is one loose out, and we know that at this point that it is the crystal that leads to the loot. But if you're just tuning in, breaking news: Vicky does indeed need to be talked to a second time in order to get an item, as Xyrak is missing a critical ruby, which leads to the floater.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that meanly. This has happened to absolutely everyone. It's just very unfortunate here for him. So he's been doing the best he can, but it's going to be a rude awakening. He's also been skipping a few chests here and there, which are going to come back to bite him when he's looking for too loose.
Yeah, we saw him start playing fast and loose in the ice cave, and it didn't bite him because he skipped a cap and 2 gold. But here it's going to be a problem because with all the boxes that he skipped in C on both Mermaid, because I don't think he checked anything on the TFC floor.
He did, but just the easy chests. He didn't check left side.
Yeah, so he's going to have all of that to do, and and Brott's going to come back in and continue his thorough excavation of everything.
Yeah, so Brott pulling Kraken, punch, nuke. Kraken with a little bit of evasion and a little bit of absorb. But you know what? Pretty hard to absorb or evade nuke.
And he joins the 2 Warp Club at the 1 hour, 18-minute mark. And Xyrak inching closer and closer to provoke him, but not... I can't see him. Yeah.
No. He's just doing key locks.
Yep.
Brott, meanwhile, going to make the Mermaid's play, making the proximity check. Once again, this makes perfect sense. There is a ribbon here, so he will be in gear go mode, as someone in chat was mentioning earlier. Missing a defense, and no invis 2 from what I've seen. So, a punchy, once again, you mentioned it earlier, Caleb, but a punchy Kraken or a punchy Chaos could still lead to a little bit of problems for his party.
Yeah.
But
Alright, gonna go check the TOF locks.
will we see a 3-eye grind here again?
Doubtful. It's possible.
Yeah, so Brott's going to be as thorough as possible. Happy he found the key so he can check TFC now.
Mm-hmm.
So, a comical story for all of you out there who are interested in how programming brains work. There's a chest in C which is locked by the key. It has a wonderful nickname called TFC, which you can, kind of in the same vein of the BFG, if you know what I mean. So,
Big friendly giant.
Exactly. I don't even have one for TFC, but the developers made that door locked by a key, even though it's logically impossible for you to get there without having the key. So all it does is make randomizers way more fun.
Yeah. Xyrak finding the Naga ice water tile. This is really good XP if you can get it down. He doesn't have all the key items that Brott has, but check out how much XP he's going to get for this fight with 4 light warriors up and not a whole lot of key items. 7k. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Xyrak has been in fantastic EXP shape for this entire time. Just doing a walking grind, taking a few fights back to back. So he's got great gear and great levels for endgame.
Yeah. And we have 2 boxes left. There's a good money chest. Ice sword, and we got 2 boxes left, and we're gonna scuff them. Okay, so no TFC or North TFC box. I mean, There's all of Sky. Oh boy. It can't be in those two boxes on the water floor that we just left behind. It's going to be in Sky.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Brott, where are you going, Brott? So you gonna do Earth first? Does he just know how much this is a Caleb seed? Oh, come on. Come on. Key locks, okay.
Yeah. So, question from chat from Uninformed Pleb. What prevents you from going through Topher and Vanilla immediately after getting the Mystic Key? What prevents you from going into Topher is there is a requirement to have all of your orbs lit. So you have to kill all 4 fiends to gain access into the basements of the Temple of Fiends and go into the past. So in order to light those 4 orbs, you need the canoe to get to Carry, you need the rod to get to Lich, you need the Oxyel to get to Kraken, and you need the chime and the cube to get to Tiamat. So those are our main progression items. So the loot protects the plate following the Phantom Tile, so we need that one as well. And the Mystic Key locks the door in the middle of Topher once we go through the loot lock. So, just like that TFC room. There are
Brott.
doors. Okay.
Brott, checking some key locks. I learned watching a race earlier that you can actually save when you're in the air. And that saves you one extra step of having to relaunch the floater back up. So definitely a nice little thing to do. Use that tent in midair. Everyone wants to camp in the sky. Why would you camp on the ground?
Yeah, it's like the movie Up. Question from Sirius Scarlet. Have they done Marsh yet? Yep, they went there like 40 minutes ago because that's where the canal was.
Xyrak critically did skip the bottom of Marsh. So those are some more chests that he has not checked. But Brott did full clear it and got a Zeus Gauntlet for his troubles, which he immediately reset out of.
And Uninformed Pleb again finding out the purpose of a Mystic Key Door in Topher, and I don't know, maybe to sort of protect from people trying to hack the game, but what's interesting is apparently it's not just that door, but there are other doors throughout the game, I think in Topher, that are Mystic Key locked that don't lead anywhere. One way you can go around and check is if you walk up to a door and just push the A button in front of it, you can talk to the door. And there's a defense sword. Another critical item for a 2-man party for Brott here in the Elfland Armory.
And that really does take away one of the remaining risks, I would say. I mean, it can be, sometimes you don't get turn order, sometimes he gets punched down first turn, but having that defense sword for a 2-man against, Chaos can really make you feel a lot safer. Oh, Brott not remembering that fast. Oh wait, did he click it on his knight?
he bought fast on the Black Wizard.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, couldn't get it on the Red Mage there, but did get it on the Black Wizard. However, he's a number of levels still away from getting any charges on that.
So what I was talking about, Ragnarok, was not that there are boxes locked behind the Mystic Key in Topher, but there are just random doors, because there's all those little rooms that you see, and some of those apparently are locked by the Mystic Key. I haven't gone around and talked to them, but that's what Wout has told me, and I'm just going to go with Wout on that one.
Wout's told himself that, and now Wout has told Caleb that.
And now it's canon.
So Brott giving us the first look of Mirage 1 here. Obviously looking for a loot. If we find a loot here, with the item situation and the level situation, I would expect him to just put the afterburners on. Gotta go fast, but...
Yeah, there are 53 boxes here. It's very likely that what we're looking for is here, but I still like... And Xyrak has to be confused, because he's done so much that he should have something by now, and he doesn't. So we're hitting that point where, yeah, we could go to Sky, but is it like he has to be thinking, is it one loose item that's prohibiting me from getting all of these key items that I'm missing? And we know that it's not. Well, we know that it is. It's the ruby, but it's not a loose item. So.
Yeah, I expect to. Is he gonna check Earth? No, I think he's routing to Sky. I think.
Oh, is he gonna go? It looks like he's doing the same sailing that he did when he went to Onrak.
Yeah, I think he's going to.
He's gonna go. Okay, I thought for a second he was gonna go open those 2 boxes that he skipped in. He's going. He's going to Sky.
Yeah. I recognize the fellow duckling feathers. That is exactly how I routed to Sky. Many times, until I watched enough races. So.
Hey, mythical blue steak. That's worth taking. Gold bracelet, X-Cal. I'd pick that X-Cal up. Give it to, switch the X-Cal on the Masa for the time being. It's pretty good.
Yeah, so there was some discussion on the Discord about sword power. Okay, there's many discussions on the Discord about sword power rankings, but some runners were saying, Xcal over Vorpal for much of the game, except for Chaos. Why is that?
So Chaos. So the way Xcal works is it takes advantage of elemental weaknesses and types. So if you are a monster that has a type that has a weakness, Xcal exploits that and does the extra damage to it. Chaos does not have any of those. So there's no weakness or type to exploit or do extra damage against, so it doesn't have that bonus, where Vorpal doesn't really have a bonus to anything except its critical hit rate and how often people throw it on the ground, like you saw Brott do here in the less than greater than room. Its critical hit rate in the hands of a high level knight can be absolutely destructive.
Yeah.
So I've seen Vorpals do black belt level 42 black belt damage with just a fast and 1 or 2 tempers. So
critical hits do still consider absorb to some extent, but how it ends up working is they do double damage, and half of that damage completely ignores absorb, and the other half of the damage takes absorb into account. So critical hits huge in getting through a high absorb fiend or chaos.
Yeah, so if you ever hit chaos and you swing a sword, you swing your Masa for 5 hits, 5 damage. That's the situation for the Vorpal. If you swing your sword and hit, 1 hit for 150 damage or whatever with no crit, that's a Masa situation. Let me buff it up with some locks and fasts to get those hits hitting. But high evasion, you work around with lock. High absorb, you work around with a Vorpal or a katana if you brought a thief with you.
If you're Will Bloodworth, you do it with a katana.
Yeah. And sometimes, we've seen it a few times in this tournament where you dig out boxes and you don't find a good sword. You have a thief and you find a katana, so you turn that fighter into a tank and you just have him sit at the top and just soak the damage while the ninja is in the background doing DPS work. And you throw the buffs onto the ninja instead.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something I think that partially popularizes this party, alongside the ability of the thief to come back up and run the end game, is that thief can be valuable in the late game, even with a few less levels.
Mm-hmm.
So our runner is both in Sky. Brott, pretty happy to be in Sky, I would say. High chest density, good chance of finding his loot here. Xyrak, probably a little bit frustrated to be in Sky right now. It's getting desperate.
Yep. And question from chat from Hot Fuzz: did Xyrak realize about the ruby? Not yet. And we're still looking for that loose loot.
Edge giving some fun trivia in chat. Also, second fun trivia: who is the only person who is resistant to time?
I know. It's Chaos. Chaos is
It
the
is
only
Chaos.
enemy of the game that resists time. There are a few time abilities. Xyrak skipping the less than greater than room. So Xyrak's still playing fast and loose.
And Brott just getting all the gear you could ever want. Finding Dragon Armor, Aegis Shield, Power Bonk, Ribbon.
And
Oh man.
I didn't think Stare was time. I know Glare is time elemental, but Damage Stare, I didn't know. That's why I didn't say anything.
I also did not know, so. Yeah, and chat pointing out that Xyrak did clear less than greater.
Okay.
He just reset out, so this is
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's a heads up play.
third dive up. Pretty common for Mirage.
So
I've seen some people do less than greater than and then just keep going up.
question from Groggy Dog in chat. What's the difference here between our runners? Xyrak forgot to talk to Bicky and missed the Ruby. The Ruby eventually, when we found the canal very late, the Ruby led to the Power Bonk in Titans and Sarda with the herb that turned into the floater. The fairy was for sale and gave us a Thor hammer, and then the Lefinians, the slab came from Crescent Lake and they gave us the rod. Still looking for a loose loot though.
Caleb, we don't need no tracker. We got this.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing the thing.
So brought in, I guess, no-ish mode, in that he knows he's searching for a loot, and it's loose.
Mhm.
So he knows everything he has to know at this point. It's just, when will he check Earth 1 where the loot will inevitably be, because Caleb rolled the seed.
I'm telling you, it's in that top floor of Earth. Until it's not and they find it here in Sky, but my seeds usually don't favor Team Sky. And I've never rolled a seed for either of these runners, so they might not know the meta play of going to Earth.
I mean, Brott did go to Marsh until he got zapped, but he did go to Marsh, so
yeah,
maybe Brott's been reading the signs. This is our last big bank of chests here.
Yeah, there's 14 chests on this floor, and then it's either in Earth or in the 2 boxes that Brott skipped on Mermaid's side.
Did Brott skip? I don't think Brott skipped any chests in Mermaids.
Yeah, well, on Mermaid's side, he skipped TFC and the chest north of TFC. Yeah.
Sorry, top left of Mermaids.
Yeah. And nothing in the 6-pack. Whizvamps, that's a fight to swing some swords at.
I think he's just so comfortable with his EXP, and he knows he's just going to keep on checking chests until he finds this. He's in his high 20s. The Massa next cutoff is 35, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the XCal is 31. So he's got to be feeling good.
Yeah. I would think so. I mean, these flags, mid-20s, you're usually good for a Topher dive. With a 2-man, I think you'd want to be a little bit higher. Pro Cape, that's pretty good. I would have grabbed that for the mage.
He already got one for the mage in the earlier box. I believe he has 2 now.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's the 3rd ribbon. So nothing doing here in Sky. Except some better gear. So, Brott approaching the Bridge of Destiny. You want to see Warmech, you want to see those robot friends. Going to get those Bless RNGs in chat. And get a couple on deck, because Xyrak will be up here in a couple minutes too. Yeah, and most importantly, that Red Wizard over 400 HP and out of nuke range for Topher, so...
And that's something that cannot be overstated in a 2-person party.
He's looking! Oh boy, he's looking!
Oh,
that's
Brott
funny.
giving us all the memes. left down Sky 4 strats, looking for Warmech. Okay, the real question is, will he give us the Dengwu? Will he walk back and forth?
A little birdie told me that another runner did that today, and they walked back and forth and they dug up a robot friend. So, and they were rewarded by getting a Brack off on Chaos. I won't spoil.
I may know
but
what you're talking about here.
Yeah, we'll let the people on YouTube watching the VODs get to see that in real time. But it was a doozy. Space Drake, I told you, loot's first floor Earth, man. It's there every time. It's gonna be Crystal in the bottom left, or I'm sorry, the very bottom room of Earth 1 in the left-hand box. The same place it was when I rolled that async seed a couple weeks ago. And Tiamat, we open up with a nuke and a swing from the X-Cal. Nothing doing. Not a whole lot here, but we're going to keep the nukes and swings coming. And
wow,
I guess Tiamat had some HP. Like 400, 500.
Yeah.
Went down to what? Yeah, had to have fewer than 500 HP because that was X-Cal swing for $140 and a low roll nuke for like $120 and then a nuke for 200. Yeah.
Yeah, the absolute lowest HP that he can have is 430. So,
yeah,
not much higher than that, if that.
Mineral there. Brott has his third orb lit though. So 3 orbs at an hour 40 doesn't feel good, but I think this is confirmation for Brott that Xyrak did similar routing and also went to Marsh late. Because I think if you go to Marsh early here, you may already be in Topher.
Yes.
So, all right.
So this loot being elusive probably makes him feel better because Brott has cleared everything except once again C that he's been to.
He's going to the room I called first. I love it. It's gonna be here in the left box, Brott. I promise. It's not. I'm sorry. And RN kilos. You don't want to see those. How about this side? Is it? I've seen it over here before too. We got a crystal here. Nope. I guess it's probably gonna be. Oh man, what if it's a TFC?
Oh man, that would be a seed for the ages.
We still got some boxes to open before we can go full on panic mode, but
yeah, Space Drake called earlier in chat the Vampire Chest, the Vanilla Ruby.
Oh, Burt Reynolds with the deep cut, calling it a marsh locked. I love it. So is Xyrak going to see a robot friend? I see some bless RNGs. We're on a different encounter table too. Brott did not find these fire hydrants up here.
I love that encounter. They roll low, and you get so much EXP from it.
Yeah.
Brott also bringing up the Black Mage, get a few levels and an extra run chance here.
Yeah, I don't hate the play. We're gonna need some fast. We're gonna need some levels on him anyway if we want to use that fast at all.
I think right around now is usually when I've been pulling up my thief as well. But I think in this case he's in like such good equipment shape, such good level shape, and he is a very experienced runner. So I think he's got a great plan going into this. Banesaur's
pretty nice. I mean, not for this late in the game, but there it is. There's the loose crystal in Earth. All right, nobody called Earth 2, but
that's because Earth 2 is boring, and you have to go through so many bats.
I don't want to be right about this crap all the time. I feel bad. There's some Death Touch Gerwolves. Those are still spooky scary. And Xyrak lights his air orb here at the 1 hour 41 minute mark, and he's got some thinking to do because he still needs 2 key items.
I saw it. I saw the question marks appear over his sprite momentarily. You guys might have missed it in chat, but I saw it.
But now we have to start unpacking all the places we skipped boxes.
And this is where skipping and like, especially just the way that he's orphaned all over the world. It's not like it was just,
Yeah.
North Continent or just, just mermaids or,
Yeah. I mean, he full cleared Sky at least. Yeah, so we orphaned boxes in sea. We've orphaned boxes in ice. There's no progress made in Earth Cave at all.
He's orphaned all of bottom of marsh, including Keylocks there.
Yeah.
Hasn't
I
been
don't think he's finished Keylocks either with, and it looks like we're going back to sea. Nope.
Yes. There's a vampire. There was a vampire. Brott not even checking the vamp chest. He's got everything he could possibly want. He's just letting our ears suffer a little bit.
And High goes down again.
High was stoned earlier, and now he's down.
And Brott taking the bottom path. It's 2 extra steps, but no bats. So.
So unfortunately, the TFC dream is dead. So Xyrak will not even find the loose crystal there.
Yeah. Alright, so while we got a little bit of downtime, I want to let everybody know that we got a bunch of races on the schedule for tomorrow. It's starting pretty early. At 2 p.m. Eastern, we have Wild Ham and Life Reboot going on. It'll be on Randomania. At 4 p.m., we have Kyukitsuki and Lord of the Synth. At 3 o'clock, we have Lord Fizzlebeef taking on Tarnin on Speed Gaming. 6 o'clock, we have Magius and Demon RHK. And then at 8 o'clock, we have a Battle of the Ducklings, Black Knight, and Ali Song going to be thrown down. So 5 great matches. So be sure to follow all of the Speed Gaming family networks. Follow those Randomania channels so you don't miss any FFR action. You can also join us on the Discord, get slapped with a spectator role, and get all the pings you'd ever want. And be notified when every race starts. And Brott in and out. Earth Cave done. Let's go get our loot from Matoya. So
Yeah,
1 hour.
Brott with some cheeky fade strats there on his X-Cal wielding knight.
Alright, and Xyrak cleaning up these boxes, gonna get the bad news that he doesn't want. That not only is there not anything here that we want, but we're wasting time by coming back to them. And Brott loading up on bottles.
Well, we saw a 6-pack earlier. Must have brought it to mind.
Brought it. So, Brott buying all the bottles, and you can see he still just has the one. Alright. It's interesting that it puts an empty bottle in his inventory that you can't get rid of.
Oh no, is it going to screw up his... No, it was calculated. He knew it would bring the
Yeah.
heal pots into the correct location.
Alright, so 1 hour, 45 minutes, and an imp fight later, Brott coming in the Temple of Fiends, and with his party and levels, I think he'll be fine. We have ribbons on the Knight and Red Wizard. All of the scary touch effects, the Stone Touch, the Death Touch are not here. This will be fine.
Caleb, officially applying the commentator's curse to this Topher run. If anything goes wrong,
What
you know
could
who to blame.
possibly go wrong? And Xyrak gonna get rewarded with the consolation ribbon. Probably try to figure out what we're gonna throw away. Probably a pro ring. Yeah.
Brott
And
showing us. If you saw that text box, that is showing that door is locked by the Mystic Key.
Yeah, so he's having fun with it. So I think some of these other doors on this floor in particular are locked by the Mystic Key, but I don't know. I never asked Woe to tell me which ones. But here we go, already onto the earth floor. Just a minute, 10 seconds later, getting a good run through here. Soria tile, that would have been nice too. So a lot of decent grind tiles found throughout this seed. Really helped with this the party draft here. And especially with Brott's strategy of the fighter Red Wizard.
Yeah, Brott really putting on a good show of how, effective a two-man strat can be when you see the magic lines up right.
Yeah.
Actually, as I say in chat that he has lock, I'm actually not sure if Brott picked up lock.
Yeah, the lock fixes are one of those things that kind of throw off the veteran players coming back, because back in the day, lock didn't matter. It was not likely to hit, and in the vanilla game, if it hit, it actually raised the monster's evasion. So, but if it hits, and it will with these flags, it will reduce an enemy's evasion by 20. So 2 casts of lock will negate 1 invis stack. So an invis increases your evade by 40, ruse by 80. So once we start melting that evade, we start landing some more hits. And even if something's rolled max evade at 240 agility, we still can get through. And double swings from Brott on Lich 2, and Lich 2 didn't even get to show us what he may have been packing.
And if anyone has any Agama backs in chat, get them out here. We had them briefly.
Yeah, Agamas, they're fast. And Xyrak now is like, is it going to be loose ruby? And because he has to be thinking that it's the ruby that's loose.
Oh, so Brott showing a little bit of disrespect to these Grey Worms here. Just run, and not healing up. Now he's going to take the time.
Yeah. Nope. So playing fast and loose, bringing the ninja up this time for the added run chance.
Ninja was up.
Ninja's down. So Xyrak will get the crystal and the loot here, but won't have the rod, and will likely be super confused at why he doesn't have the rod. Choosing to keep that pure potion, but here comes Carrie too.
I don't think Xyrak's seen the he still hasn't checked ice either, so he's going to check there, and then he'll be confused.
Yeah.
Ooh, Carrie come out with Swirl.
Yeah,
a non-elemental, so...
Yeah, non-elemental skills originally on the Chaos script.
And of course, the reason non-elemental matters, if you weren't familiar, is that Ribbon does not negate it. So they are still doing full damage instead of the half damage that they're getting from everything else.
And, well, Xyrak also doesn't know that there's a loose Opal in Cardia, so he might be thinking it's, I can't believe it, Ruby and loot or whatever, like both loose items are on Earth. Like that's probably what's going through his head. So
yeah, absolutely.
This is going to be, yeah, sad post-game interviews for this one.
Yeah, Brott about to take on Kraken here. I do hope that Xyrak joins us for the post-game. I don't know. I don't know if it will be rage-inducing, or if it won't be rage-inducing until he knows what happened.
Yeah, I think it'll be just confusion.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anything in this seed that's really like full tilt yet, other than just awkward routing because I rolled it. But here comes the Kraken 2 fight. Kraken 2 does Kraken 2 things.
Ninja up using that white shirt, always nice. Doing his job, about to take a punch for the team too. swings. 4 hits, 436, pretty good damage. There we go. 4's taking a nap, but the 2 key party members still up here. Fade, 110. Brott going in, Kraken. 2 hits only, so a little bit evasive. There goes one of his life chart casters, so getting a little bit sketchy. Going up to defense, so almost max evade, small hit. Those evade stacks really paying off. Defense goes out, up to max evade now. Taking some hits, but still up. Kraken now missing, max evade paying off. 3 hits, 338, and with that, Kraken goes down. Luckily, Brott has life 2 charges on that night, really paying off. High level, 2-man strats working out well for him here.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Xyrak, I think, has to continue digging out Earth because he has to assume that there's another loose here. Or we're just exiting out, okay.
For all he knows, that could lead to the floater at this point. It's very unfortunate that's not just the loot directly. Because right now, if it were me, that's screaming floater, right?
Yeah. And he's got to be like, oh my god, Brott came to Earth right away, and yeah. But still, running in on 2 hours, maybe not, but here comes Tia too, so maybe Xyrak is thinking that if Brott came here, Brott's struggling in Topher.
Yeah. Tia opening up with the nuclear, taking down that ninja. Also, Brott decided to keep his fighter in the top slot, so he could be taking some punches here, but we also could see the holy double back-to-back nuclear.
Yeah, I don't mind the fighter being up front for Tia 2. Tia 2 punches hard, but not that hard. Not as hard as Kraken, so you can put the fighter up there to be a tank. And Xyrak, you gotta go around. So hold B, push select. I'll get you your map. So kind of losing track of where he is on the world map here.
I'm not sure if he's lost so much as he's confused.
Yeah, I think this is 2 hours in. Seed isn't really being friendly to you, and dropping a key item check is gonna just there's a lot of confounding variables here as Brott gets through Tia 2 easy enough, and congratulations, there's your loot, but please go to Provoca. Please, Xyrak. You can see it, he's thinking. You can almost see the fighter sprite thinking. Just think.
Question mark, question mark, question mark. Oh, Brott not memeing hard enough to give us the victory lap.
Nah. He's memed enough. It's time to go fast.
Final preparations. 30 health. Gotta love it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, dropping Bicky, he'll never remember it. Alright, Chaos Fight, go ahead and call it, man.
So we have defense, temper, white shirt, temper. So definitely putting all the eggs in that fighter basket. Will we see the 3 in 256 chance zap or something along those lines on that fighter? Stay tuned. So that's power bonk will be this 2 tempers and a power bonk, so getting ready to start swinging. Temper, fire 3, not doing much once again, taking half damage on those ribbons. I guess the ninja won't be around for long with 30 health, but that fighter ready to start swinging. Temper. Brott. Punch, chip damage. Yeah, nuke a little bit more chip damage there. And another temper, so really stacking up on that fighter, and we should see a big swing here. Should being the keyword, because 3 hits, 328, not very happy with that. So I should be seeing a Lock 2 cast coming out here shortly. Oh, he doesn't have it. So he'll just keep swinging. 3 hits, that's better. Nuke comes out up to about 1,000 damage here. Black Mage goes down. 2-man, Ez has been the rest of the seed. Fade comes out. 158. Slow 2, that's not a good sign, but it was ineffective. And with that, Chaos goes down.
And with an official SRL time, we got Brott finishing first place, 1 hour, 55 minutes, 45 seconds, and Xyrak immediately forfeited. So I'm going to try to get both these runners in here to talk to us about it. And we're joined by Brott right away. GG's, Brott.
Hey, GG's.
And Xyrak also joining us right away. Xyrak, GG, man, that was difficult to watch because what you missed was something that once you miss it, you will never miss it again. And because when you miss it, you'll never go back to it. It was Bicky. So,
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, so after killing the pirates, you didn't talk to Bicky, and he gave us the ruby. So when you were the first, I believe, to break out of the inner sea, and you checked in at Melmont. I was like, no, go turn in your ruby, go turn in your ruby. And then I think it was Edgeworth in chat was, you didn't have the ruby in your inventory, and then Jat and I were scrambling like, where the heck did the ruby come from? And it was Bicky. So
Yeah,
but
I went there. I went there first, I believe. I went straight to it.
yeah,
Yeah, which makes perfect sense. I mean, I think most people after they get out of the Undersea, and I'm sure Xyrak, well, if you have the ruby, check Melmond, go turn in that ruby.
Yeah.
If it's a Caleb seed, you check Earth. But you didn't know that, so that's okay.
I thought I was so far behind. That was brutal at the beginning, and
Yeah.
I went to Marsh. Like I went because I doubled back to get pro rings. I was like, I might as well go to Marsh, and then I went down instead of up, which I never do. And then Mux had I kill you.
Yeah, yes. Scums with Zap, yeah.
And then so I left again. So when I went back and found Canal, it's just
Yeah, I think if Xyrak doesn't scuff Bicky, that this would have been a really fascinating race to watch, because I mean, Xyrak was right there with you, doing things a little bit slower because he was unpromoted, didn't have the floater to fly around and do stuff, and finding the loose opal bracelet in the Cardia Islands gave you a lot of information that Xyrak didn't have, and it allowed us to deduce that it was the crystal to the loot. But the biggest story throughout the seed was the approach to this party. So we kind of had a laugh because this was a draft. Brott, you elected to bring the thief and the black mage, while Xyrak brought the fighter and red mage. And Brott, you only used the fighter and the red mage. So talk to me about your 2-man strats here.
My plan was I was going to pick thief.
Mm-hmm.
That was as long as Xyrak picked, usable characters. So when he picked red mage, I was just decided, do I really want to take that chance to not get good black mage spells? And at that point, I was like, yeah, I might as well just do that. I'll just pick one of them to stay alive. And yeah, it like I said, it was a very interesting seed. Just everything was a problem at the start. Even the encounter table at the beginning. There was that long run after the 4th encounter, I think, but it took me a while to figure that out, just because it was just so atrocious at the beginning.
Yeah. There was a lot of nasty early game stuff that you saw that Xyrak didn't see right away, and Xyrak had a slight advantage on you for most of the inner sea stuff, because he didn't bounce out of Volcano. He was able to clear it on his first go through with the 4 up, and didn't have any problems with Ice Cave either.
Softs.
Yeah.
When that happened to me, I was like, I knew I saw softs, so I was going to buy one, I forgot, and I was just like, I'm just going to power through to see if I can figure out what the incentivized chest was, and maybe I'll find a soft on the way, because there's quite a few of them in chests.
Yeah.
But I wish you guys could have saw my face when the girls just one-shot me.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I just figured I was so far behind. Just everything seemed to take forever at the start.
We saw the when we saw you hit the time, we're like, oh, Garwolves, this will be bad poop death touch. We're like, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah. And then crack imps, and they were a trap tile in Waterfall.
It was
22.
Yeah, it was fun. Xyrak, you were the first to hit the guard and sentry and Ice Cave in the 6-pack. What was going through your mind there?
I was like, this is a great grind tile. This is amazing. And then on the 4th or 5th one, nope. All of a sudden, it wasn't as good anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had something nasty too. I can't remember what it was.
It was a stone touch.
Stone touch, yeah.
Oh yes, and then the gas D trap tile was like.
Those were super, super thin.
Yeah, that was some juicy XP.
Yeah, they hit hard and they cast Ruse as well. But
Yeah.
So, like, obviously we had lots of magic, but you're also... Well, my party didn't have... I don't even know where Warp was, what level Warp was, but I didn't have that luxury for sure.
I don't think we saw Warp, so yeah, Warp was definitely in 7 or 8.
Yeah.
It was fun to see, though, to be honest. I felt like I was doing everything wrong at the beginning. Even that I'll go to fight the pirates first before I go fight Garland, and then the Masked Moon was there. I was just like, all right, so that was kind of a precursor to how the whole sea was going to go for both of us.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch and to do commentary for. I think if you watch the VOD back, Xyrak, like I've been in that situation specifically with Bicky, where it was Bicky had the cube and I cleared every box. And I was like, and it was like an entrance floor shuffle seed too, so I was like extra tilted about it. But don't beat yourself up over it too much, man. This happens to the best of us. Dangwoo was in chat earlier, like, oh, I don't know how many times Dangwoo's forgot to talk to Bicky, but
I don't know if I forgot or unfortunately I was having controller issues. So I don't know if I just missed an input there or if I just plain forgot. I honestly don't remember, but I obviously totally thought that I talked to him. So
yeah.
And, well, at least you didn't cast Exit on Chaos like I did last week.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bosses. Yeah, no exit bosses this week.
But yeah, like I said, like that's unfortunate. Like they were saying there, we all made mistakes like that where forget to talk to this person or that person, and
and I don't want to diminish what you did here either, Brott. I mean, your 2-man party was pretty effective once you got the levels going on it. It was a little hairy in the get go, but I think had Xyrak talked to Bicky, we probably would have seen side-by-side Topher entrances with you slightly higher levels on 2 parties, but Xyrak had really good levels across the board on his, and it would have been fascinating to see B's party comps and the strategy to get through the seed deal with Topher.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. See,
I was trying to get down to 2 party members, but those Waters and Nagas refused to kill the Black Mage. Just got him down to 14 health, and they just would not finish him off.
Yeah, I in Earth, I don't know much about this game, like red mage permissions and even what level you get new, like the higher level magic. Like I don't remember any of that. So that's why I res my black mage just to see if I could get even 1 charge of fast.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That was the plan there, but he was so far behind. It was just like, that was just a waste of time.
Yeah, I think you got to get to like 18 to get your first hit of level 6. I think it's 18.
Yeah, that was definitely not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, so I think Xyrak, I think you played super aggressively, which had, the seed been a little different. Like, had you had the ruby from the jump, like you could have, this would have been fascinating because you were skipping boxes in a very aggressive way, like not having found either loose, and we're like, okay, he did mermaids, but he didn't do any of the TFC floor except like the free box. You skip most of Sharknado floor and Sea Shrine. You skip 2 random chests in Ice Cave. Didn't do bottom marsh, and we're like playing super aggressive, and it could have paid out because Brott was thorough opening everything until he found that crystal. So
yeah, the only chests I didn't check were the 2 on the 2nd floor of Sea Shrine.
Yeah.
The backward sea or whatever chest. The keylock chest and the one
TFC.
Yeah. We did.
The crystal definitely would have thrown me off. It would have been probably, I don't know. If I turned in every other incentivized item, I guess, before I did Earth Cave, then maybe I would have been sort of forced to full clear it, but that could have gotten me regardless.
Yeah, that's a tough and a bit of an out-of-the-way check there on Earth 2, so definitely could have been risky. What was making you make that decision, like early on Ice? Because the early game went fairly well for you. Were you just thinking, I gotta go fast, or was it always your plan to play aggressively?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I do race this casually with friends and stuff once in a while, but I'm not super experienced. So when I'm going up against people who are in this tournament, like I'm always assuming from an experience point of view, I'm going to be the underdog. So I feel like I kind of have to make plays here and there. So I take the stuff that's relatively easy to get to, and I'll check maybe like 1 or 2 one-offs that are relatively close. But if it gets to a game of having to check every 100% every chest, like I'm almost certainly going to come out on the poor end of that. So yeah, that's strategy going into it.
Oh, that's really good. That's good insight into. We were wondering right off the get-go. Unfortunately, we knew that when you couldn't find the floater, the Ruby in particular, that I was going to bite you in the butt. But honestly, going out of I was commenting when you guys were both holding hands in Elfland, right as you were about to leave the Inner Sea. And Xyrak, you had you were in a pretty good position. You had 4 party members up. You were only about 2 or 3 levels behind Brott with 4 members. So definitely a solid EXP lead. You hadn't bonked so hard off Volcano. So I think the strategy definitely could have paid off in a slightly different situation. So GG, good job, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know this is only your 5th race SRL for FFR, but I know we have a Duck Derby coming up for all the newer players, and I would love to see you in that, dude. This was an impressive run. Brott is an old pro, and this could have been down to the wire and Topher, but it's it'd be awesome to see you kind of stick around and keep going at it, man. And Brott, we'll go to you for final thoughts. First place finisher, made it to 3-2, 1 step closer to the play-in race, and guaranteed a position in the last chance qualifier. How are you feeling about coming back to FFR? How are you liking the tournament and these Swiss flags?
They're okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
This is my 6th race in a year. Right? I used to play a lot. I used to be half decent. I would, I suppose. But, so you don't ever lose that with base, but I definitely can tell that I'm, not to where I need to be or want to be. But, but I don't mind the flags, to be honest. The 2 loose are interesting. The canal being in the Inner Sea, that's new from when I played in the past. So I really like the idea behind that, where it's loose and there's scenarios where it could be an ice cave or volcano.
Yeah,
I think that's really, really a plus for it. And I haven't played any of the seeds yet, but I'm actually looking forward to. I don't know if it's going to be in this tournament at all, but that D&D style flavor to the game where the +5 or -5.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen in this.
Blair said,
but that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun too.
So that's still on the beta site. It's not planned to show up in the spring tournament, but we do have a couple events coming up in the summer. The Duck Derby being one, and then a co-op tournament. And in the co-op tournament, I would imagine we'll see the Blurst weapons get their debut under the light, so to speak.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I don't know how it's been. I don't know how it's been if people have liked it or not, or if it's been successful. But it adds another dynamic, right?
I think it's been super popular.
Is Mass Moon -2? What is Ice Sword +5 equal to this? I have no idea, right? But
any weapon +5 is real good.
Yeah.
Take a light axe 5 into the end game.
It goes right now it goes Mass Moon's #1, Excalibur, and then second last is Dagger, and then the last is Vorpal, right?
Yeah.
So, but when you add the other dynamic of the numbers, it's what surpasses Mass Moon if it's a -2, like I was saying, right? I don't know, and it'd be interesting to find out exactly.
So if on, I believe the Discord and the resources and link channel under the new player section, Darren Dries, one of the newer runners, has put together a spreadsheet so you can go in there and you can look at all the different weapons and how they plus out with where their base stats are with if they've got +5, -5, and anywhere in between. So there are a ton of resources on the Discord. But yeah, GG's once again brought Xyrak 2 and 3, not eliminated from contention yet. You get one more shot next week in the Chaos Flags, where we'll have 3 loose and no incentivized Fiend Dungeon. How do you like your chances making it to the Last Chance qualifier, man?
I don't know if they make numbers that small, to be honest, but but hey, I mean, what I'll my best shot, but yeah, it's gonna be rough.
I believe in you, dude. Like, I was watching this. You ran pretty good. So the missing Bicky thing is just one of those things that, and actually, your stream was going for a second. You might just be able to rub back up and just get the sad news. But GG Xyrak, we saw that you we were talking in the early game. A lot of history with the Link to the Past randomizer and the free enterprise, and new to FFR, but I hope you stick around. I hope you give the derby a shot. And
yeah, for sure, I enjoy it. So thanks a lot, and GG Brott.
Thanks, man.
Are you gonna talk to Bicky?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's the confirmation. GG Xyrak. Better luck next week, dude. I believe you'll get there. Jet, thank you for being comms partner with me again. I'll let you take us home.
Absolutely, yeah. So GG, good job to both of the runners tonight. Thanks again. I think watching the VOD back, my final thoughts are basically that I think you'll find it really interesting, and for any of our viewers or anyone who checks this out after, I thought it was really interesting seeing the dynamics of the 2-person versus the 4-person and how that played out. So great job to both of our runners. As Caleb said, tomorrow we got a full slate of 5 games lined up. The first one starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come check us out tomorrow. Come back for some more Final Fantasy Randomizer action. We have still another week of Swiss, plus the brackets coming up after that. So stay tuned. Have a good night, everyone.